What is going on, YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the third album by Justin Bieber. Basically, this album is called Believe in It. Came out in the late spring of 2012. Now, his actual second album was called Under the Mistletoe. It was a Christmas album, and it came out in late 2011. But this, in a lot of ways, this is his standard second album. This is the sequel to My World 2.0 and such, and this kind of advanced him past the teen pop styles that he had on My World 1.0 and 2.0, and it kind of put Justin Bieber kind of more in like an R&B frontrunner highlight. He was up there with Chris Brown, Usher, Trey Songz, and the transition was pretty quick. That's just kind of the thing about it. This was only his second album, and he went from teen pop, kind of teeny bopper, kind of more like more youthful sensation to kind of being like a miniature Chris Brown and that type of stuff as far as that kind of went. I remember this album. He dominated 2012 and early 2013 quite a bit, and it just kind of made help substantialize Justin Bieber as more of like adult contemporary, more so than just teen sensation as far as that kind of went. It's an excellent album. It's definitely going to get a rave score, and I might even go as far as to say that this might be Justin Bieber's best album. I definitely like this one better than My World. I definitely like this album more than My World 1.0 and 2.0 and the two acoustic albums and Never Say Never. So out of all the ones I've reviewed by Justin Bieber, this is right now my favorite. Now I do like Purpose quite a bit. I'm going to review Journals next. Those are some next ones I'm going to review and such, but I would have to say this is pretty excellent. Nice summer smash, dominated a lot of things throughout the summer of 2012. EDM was hugely popular in 2012. Justin Bieber translates that sound pretty damn well. He has some folks on here. He teams up with Ludacris again. Big Sean's on here. Nicki Minaj is on here, which is a good pair up. There's some Drake stuff on here. Just folks like that, that sort of concept, just some good moments as far as that kind of goes. And it is pretty much like a leveling up compared to My World 2.0. Now, I like My World 2.0. That one was just a lot more kind of preppy and unctuous in some cases. But the energy on here, like Justin Bieber really knows how to be emotive and pull it off. And I feel like that's a good concept. But there's still some of that pep if you like the vibes from Justin Bieber on My World 1.0 and 2.0, but it's just kind of a lot more smoky and kind of has that more hazy type feel about it, where it's just a little bit moody. He kind of ditches somewhat of the kind of emo hairstyle and kind of more emo pitch sound that he had on the My World days, but it just kind of has it in a more, or he may not have that look anymore, but he still has like a light tinge of that moodiness. This is a very vanilla album, but the concept about it is it just kind of has like the right pitch as far as being able to have some of these songs. So the tempos of these songs and the elements of these songs are really good. It's just kind of like I would almost say that Justin Bieber was kind of like the white Chris Brown with this sort of atmosphere. It just really worked extremely well. Now, this album had more singles than My World 2.0, so it definitely charted for a while, and a lot of these were top 10. Like, this is really something that kind of had Justin Bieber being like a household name. Like, a lot of these had pretty vast success, and I would have to say it was just a pretty atmospheric project. It was definitely one of the more profound albums from 2012, 2013 times, I would say. This is definitely one that was a good look, wasn't a poor album, was not quite, there was less to complain about this time compared to stuff like when people could say from My World 2.0 that, oh, Justin Bieber's a prep and he makes this really kind of teeny bop type music. Well, it's not the case this time. I mean, he really has some pretty smoky kind of ladies songs on here that do actually get some jive and women dancing and that type of stuff as far as that kind of goes. It's not like the previous albums didn't, but it's just kind of now it's kind of not just for like young girls and just kind of more youthful, kind of rambunctious girls, I would have to say. So that's this kind of thing. But so yeah, I would definitely look after it like the singles on this album. Like I liked every one of the singles on this album, and basically I liked every one of the singles on this album, along with most of the songs on this album, as you'll discover. But we'll go ahead and start with the singles. So the first single is "Boyfriend." This is kind of some smoky autumn tied up music. It's got a good composition and angle, I would say, and it's kind of a song that made Justin Bieber like the front runner for R&B. Like this is just a vast difference between the way he was on Baby and that type of stuff. This really kind of has like a hazy kind of lot more romantic tinge feel about it, that this is kind of more adult contemporary and some of those concepts I just would say it's just a lot more pulled off, and just the elements behind it really have Justin Bieber kind of be more sprawled out and just kind of an effectual one. This is the sort of stuff that like could pretty much, I mean, this was a smash hit highlight. This is definitely one of the more dominant songs of 2012. And when you listen to songs like One Time and Baby and some of those type ones, they feel a lot preppier and they kind of have like a lot more kind of vivid bounce about them and just more tapioca in a sense. But this is kind of more something that feels like it's out of Trey Songz or Chris Brown's playbook, or even, I would say in some cases T-Pain's playbook. So this is a standard kind of R&B bop that just has a lot of jive towards it. That this is a good hit. I mean, this is one that I would like to hear on like R&B, or this is one that I'd like to hear on rhythmic radio. It's just a good song. This is definitely one I want to say that this song hit #2 on the Billboard 100. I don't remember what song was ahead of it at the time, probably like Starships or some song like that, but I just would have to say like it really worked pretty effectually as far as that kind of goes, just being able to yeah, just it's pretty much, it's like it's a strong hit and it carries energy. This is one that deserves to still be successful. It's probably one of the biggest songs from like the 2010s decade. It's one that deserves to kind of continue to have the success and still be a replayable one. Like when you think of Hollaback Girl by Gwen Stefani, or you think of Usher's Yeah, or some of those type songs from the 2000s that still get airplay today, I would say that this is one of those songs that still should be as well. But the second single is As Long As You Love Me, and this is a pretty excellent song. This is a real nice bop on here. This is a crunk kind of dubstep bop, I would say. It's a great dance and EDM hit. It's very affable, and it's very affable and catchy, and it's pretty hooky also. I just would have to say this is kind of one where Justin Bieber blends the concept of some EDM type stuff and pulls it off, kind of capitalizes on the trends and pulls off some good dance bops. This is interesting just because when you look at My World 2.0, it didn't quite have songs like this, but that was kind of before those times. My World 2.0 a little bit early before like the EDM craze, but this is like a good capitalization on being able to do that. This really works extremely well as far as that kind of goes. Just an easy hit. And this is another one that doesn't show its age that much. This is one that you could still, I mean, maybe the EDM type stuff might be somewhat like, wow, that's really retro, that sort of feeling. But I feel like it's still kind of one that has like a nice highlighted, definite kind of, it's a good song. The fact that this song charted at like #5 on the Billboard 100 definitely kind of showcases that this is kind of a snappy kind of song and outgoing kind of song that's just a highlight, and it's not just something that's more hardcore R&B, hardcore pop, or something like that. I don't know if hardcore pop is actually a thing, but just being able to say it's just one that has some jive, but it's also popular in terms of commercial success song that you could hear possibly on the radio. So it works. Beauty and the Beat's another top 10 single. This one worked extremely well. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention that As Long As You Love Me has Big Sean on there, which is pretty good pairing with that. I like hearing Big Sean on a song like this. Definitely works as far as that kind of goes. But Beauty and the Beat's the third single. This has Nicki Minaj on here. She was kind of doing EDM around this time in 2012, so it's interesting to kind of get that. But this is a very jivey kind of electro crunk hit. It's an easy EDM weekend cut, and it's got a good Nicki Minaj feature, and it's a fun track, I would say. This one's a little bit more crunk and turned up than As Long As You Love Me, where I feel like As Long As You Love Me could be makeshift in like a minor sense. This kind of like the after hours of 4:30, 3:30, 3:45, 4:30 p.m. when you're getting ready to leave, that type of stuff. This one that you could still hear at work was just definitely more for like the night out and the going to get to the night out and that type of stuff. But Beauty and the Beat's definitely one that's more amidst like the full blown night and getting crunk and that type of stuff. It's kind of like this was a top 10 single, but it's just a lot more kind of electronic kind of jive and just weekend type feels as far as that kind of goes. But it's a nice one. I mean, Justin Bieber had 3 for 3 hits. Really, he has 5 for 5 with all the singles hitting. But just being able to say that these were just some nice kind of vibes as far as that kind of went. Just a real kind of rave energy. And the fact that Justin Bieber was 18 pulling off EDM this well is pretty damn good. This worked extremely well. Right here is the fourth single, and this has Drake on there as well. Justin Bieber pulls off some Drake vibes. I would definitely say he emulates that kind of style that Drake does, the same signature singing that he has in like the first verse, and then Drake comes through and kills it also. It's kind of got some evening ladies jive, I would say. It's definitely it has a more sluggish tempo, but it pulls it off. So this is one that kind of slows things down and sort of sluggish kind of R&B crooning that Drake does. It's just basically like a Drake song. It feels like a leftover off of Take Care or something, or even Thank Me Later or something like that. Those crooning songs that Drake would have, where they're not necessarily like stepping out club songs, but they're just kind of more hangout, kind of couch hangout sessions, those type bops, as far as just like streaming Spotify type stuff, just playing some tunes, making some pasta, some of that type stuff. far as that kind of goes. But I just would look after it, just being able to say it's just kind of, just really kind of has like that Drake-esque kind of vibe. Just really like the concept of getting that one. It's a good bop. It's a good sluggish bop, I would say, down tempo one. The fifth single is All Around the World. This has Ludacris on there. It's good. I'm glad that Justin Bieber at least did one more song with Ludacris, just because that the pairing that they did on Baby was an excellent one. Just worked pretty damn well. I would have to say that All Around the World is like a paced kind of dance boiler. It's definitely some snappy, excellent jive, and it's a thrilling. It's definitely some snappy, excellent jive, and it's a thrilling kind of EDM bounce, I would say. So this is just a good one. This probably has some of the more ravenous energy. Like this one didn't chart in like the top 10. It was probably like a top 30 single, something like that. But I would have to say it's probably got the most catchy chorus on here. It just really has some thrilling energy. This is an easy one to kind of get goosebumps to and kind of be excited to. I feel like As Long As You Love Me and All Around the World probably have like the most electric and immediate jive of like the EDM bounce songs, but Beauty and the Beat's pretty good. Also, all three of those songs are really great for like dance type vibes as far as that kind of goes. So Justin Bieber just nailed all five of these singles. Just really excellent kind of choruses as far as that kind of goes. Just really the EDM style works pretty well, and it just has like the right jive just to be able to have like, I mean, maybe All Around the World isn't makeshift, but there is at least a couple. Like I feel like Boyfriend and As Long As You Love Me are kind of like the entry kind of makeshift hours type songs, but the other three songs just have different variables as far as that kind of goes, but they're just good ones. That's this kind of thing. So there are some makeshift on here, but Justin Bieber doesn't full blown step into makeshift as much. It's just kind of, or some of these are just vanilla and kind of more just like sultry, kind of smoky R&B type tinge, but it's not just full blown work hours, Monday through Friday type stuff. So that's this kind of thing. There is like I said, Boyfriend, As Long As You Love Me. There's a couple other ones that probably do have some of that, but it's this kind of thing. So yeah, but All Around the World's an excellent kind of jivey kind of dance bop. Definitely has that craze about it. So out of 17 songs on here, there's actually 16. I'm reviewing the deluxe edition, but the thing about it is Spotify has a bonus track, and I don't know if you can find that song anywhere else, like on a CD. So the 17th song on the Spotify edition is Fairy Tale with Jaden Smith on there, which I haven't heard until just today. This is a song I just haven't known about. But the three bonus songs that are on the deluxe are Out of Town Girl, She Don't Like the Lights, and Maria. So out of those 17 songs, there are only three songs I don't recommend. So this album's going to get a 10 out of 10. But the three songs I don't recommend would just be Fall, Die in Your Arms, and Believe, the title track. So apart from those three songs, which I'll go ahead and talk about those, like Die in Your Arms and Believe are a lot more homely and kind of thought-provoking songs. Like there are songs like that on here, but some, not all of them kind of pull it off quite as well. And I feel like Fall is just kind of one that's kind of a lot more like a kind of more acoustic ballad, down-tempo acoustic ballad that just doesn't work. I feel like songs like Catching Feelings kind of do that a little bit better. And there's some other ones that kind of do it like, there are other songs that do like this style better than Fall, but Fall is just kind of like a more kind of not as thrilling kind of. Fall is just less of a thrilling kind of acoustic down tempo song that just doesn't quite pull it off as much. And I would say Die in Your Arms and then Believe are just kind of more like, if you like the style of Justin Bieber off Pray, off of My World's Acoustic, I would say that those are just more songs like that. Especially Believe kind of has like that preppy kind of unctuous style, just kind of in more of a sense of like this kind of more, just like the song says, believe, just kind of believing and just having, more kind of empowering kind of vibes about it. But both those songs just didn't quite connect for me. So yeah, Fall, Die in Your Arms, Believe are like the three songs I didn't recommend. But talk about the other 14 songs I do recommend. One song that has a lot of bounce to it that I really like that's on the deluxe edition. I do recommend you get the deluxe. I mean, even I would have to say that if you just get the standard edition with 13 songs, that's still going to be a 10 out of 10. Those three songs are on both editions. The three songs I don't recommend are on both editions, but I would say definitely get the deluxe. Out of Town Girl is like a house party bop, which is kind of uncommon for Justin Bieber. It's kind of got some good sultry vibes about it. It's a local kind of shindig bounce, I would say. Definitely like the concept because I can't think of too many songs where Justin Bieber would have done that kind of have like a more kind of house party type feel about it. This is definitely one where you're not going out to a club or a dance club or something like that, but just kind of having things more localized and kind of more around the house, around the neighborhood type stuff. This is just a good one for that sort of concept. Just real kind of smoky vibes that work extremely well. Maria is a nice one. This is kind of like a bouncy kind of electro dance hit. This is another one for stepping out, I would say. This is kind of some quick life pizzazz. This is kind of some quick life pizzazz. It's got a great jive for some hapless kind of weekends. I would definitely say this is just an easy kind of weekend one to just hear throughout like the summer or just the fall or something like that as far as that kind of goes. Just real kind of electro kind of pop on here. Just would say Take You is another nice EDM flavored one. This is like a gauzy kind of evening dance fair, I would say. It's romantic and somewhat slow, kind of in the tempo about it, but it's also got some mid jive and it's just a nice kind of Spanish guitar licks, EDM type song. This is kind of one that has like, I mean, I feel like this is kind of in between like a slow tempo, kind of slow dance song and kind of like a mid tempo bop that has like EDM feels about it. So it's just a good blend of the mixtures as to how it pulls it off. I would definitely say. And Catching Feelings is one of those songs I was talking about, kind of similar to Fall, but it's just a better version of that. I feel like Catching Feelings is a more low key, kind of down tempo gem. It's romantic and meaningful, but it has like a solid charm about it. This one's just a little bit better of one. Like, there's a lot of romantic songs on here. Like, Justin Bieber gives off really good boyfriend vibes on this particular album. And if you do have some tied down kind of vibes about, if you do have some tied down vibes about you, I would definitely say that this is a pretty excellent album to kind of look up. This is easy kind of boyfriend music and this kind of smoky kind of tunes, just that has like it can be meaningful, but it pulls it off in a sense where it's not sappy. Like I feel like that's really the only sappy song on here is really Fall. That's the only sappy song to me in that opinion. But Justin Bieber pulls off these boyfriend vibes and has a good assortment of just tied down kind of music that just has like the edge and not quite just being boring and kind of just less, pep and just kind of spark to it, I would have to say. And Catching Feelings is an example that just really has like it's light. I mean, this is not a club song. Catching Feelings is not really a stepping out, getting ready to get crunk kind of song, something like that. It's just kind of a lot more song with meaning and that type of stuff, just a little bit more longing and that sort of sense. Is just kind of one of those. But Thought of You is a getting ready to step out gem. It's got some bubbling energy and it's an early hours dance hit and it's some solid EDM. I would definitely say this is one for getting ready to get to the club and that type of stuff. Definitely one where you're kind of getting ready and getting excited and that type of stuff. You can just feel your blood pulsing and that type of stuff as far as that kind of goes compared to the craziness of Beauty and a Beat and As Long as You Love Me and All Around the World. This is just one that's kind of a primer where you're on the way there and you just you're looking nice and you're getting ready to get there. And as far as some of that type stuff kind of goes, just an easy kind of highlight for that. One Love is another nice one. This is some mellow trance club music, I would say. This is kind of a vanilla dance gem, but it's got a calmer tone, but it still has like it's a calmer tone, but still has like a centered jive about it. This is just kind of one of those ones that like this is interesting that Justin Bieber was able to pull off the multitude of these dance styles because this is an angle that usually folks like Jeffree Star and Blood on the Dance Floor pull off, where they just have varietized kind of dance club hits. But because Justin Bieber has more than 5 or 6 dance club hits on here, it makes sense that there's a variety of moods, not just a carbon copy of one particular mood. So I feel like One Love is definitely more of like a trance song. This has One Love just has like a real lambent and kind of 3 a.m. just after hours, real kind of lazy kind of trance type beat as far as that kind of goes, but it just works extremely well. Definite nice one. Another kind of acoustic gem like Catching Feelings is Be Alright. This one's a very languid acoustic romantic bop. This is another real romantic kind of one with it's a song with some meaning and it's upbeat and kind of like a lazy summery scent. This is just kind of one of those ones. If you like the My World 1.0 kind of vibes and My World's acoustic and even yeah, if you like My World 1.0 and My World's acoustic and some of those type ones, Be Alright's a good sequel to some of those type vibes from Justin Bieber's really early days. This is just a very languid song and it's kind of a romantic, kind of more homely bop that just is kind of centered on Bay and that type of stuff. Not really for stepping out or getting ready to have like a pretty festive party or something like that, but just more kind of lays, just being good boyfriend material as far as that kind of goes. Just that sort of concept. Just a nice one. Fairy Tale is pretty good. It has Jaden Smith on here. It's another pairing with them after their Never Say Never song that they did. I don't know if you can find this on any particular CD or if this is just truly like a Spotify exclusive. It'd be nice if you could find it elsewhere just because this is like a mid-tempo trance kind of song. It's kind of similar to One Love. It's kind of in that same kind of smoky, it's early kind of lo-fi music, I would say. Lo-fi wasn't super huge in 2012. It was just interesting kind of get this kind of mid-tempo trance sort of stuff that like Frank Ocean kind of does in that sort of sense. It's an R&B gem, kind of some hazy bop. It's kind of a hazy bop, and it's an easy kind of hangout hit, I would say, and it should have been on the deluxe CD, I would definitely say. It's just a nice one. It's interesting seeing Jaden, because Jaden Smith tears apart this song pretty damn well. It's interesting that just when he was 13, 14, that he was able to nail this sort of song. It's just interesting kind of getting that. Justin Bieber did well, but really, I feel like almost, I would say Jaden Smith kind of stole the show just as to how simple he kind of tore this song apart, just being 13, 14. This really worked pretty damn well. Just a nice kind of bop, just an easy kind of mid-tempo kind of trance song, and just kind of some lo-fi kind of hangout session kind of gems as far as that kind of goes. And then She Don't Like the Lights is kind of a bubbling EDM crunk night out. It's not as electronic, but it's a thrilling kind of dance heater. I definitely say this is like a thrilling kind of dance heater. Definitely works. It has like a snappy sense. It builds into like a higher tempo in like the second verse. I would definitely say it just has like these kind of camera clicks in like the song that just kind of make it really feel like a busy kind of night out as far as that kind of goes. But it's just an overall kind of highlight, and it definitely kind of works as like another, like this is an EDM hit. This is definitely a dance one. This is like the sixth or seventh. There's definitely a good chunk, a handful of some of these songs that work pretty well. This one just has like a good thrilling kind of sense of pace. This makes you feel like you have a busy lifestyle. I would definitely kind of say so. It's just an easy kind of highlight. So looking at 14 out of 17 songs on this album, like I said, I'm gonna give this album a 10 out of 10. 13 out of 16 on the deluxe edition, or 14 out of 17 if you count the Spotify songs. So this album gets a 10 out of 10. The social score, I'm going to give it 10 out of 10 just because Justin Bieber really annihilated like this album just in terms of like the qualities and the angles that he kind of reached. It's some good boyfriend material, some good EDM stepping out weekend material, it's some good summer material, and it's kind of in a minor sense some good makeshift kind of material. There's just some good bops on here. It's a very vanilla album. Like I feel like this is a front runner, and this is probably one of the best R&B and just overall general albums of the 2010s decade. I mean, it just nailed it that well. This is definitely one that you need to know about. I mean, it's pretty contemporary. Justin Bieber was 18 at the time, so this is definitely one to know about and just be able to talk about and just kind of have. Like, I wouldn't listen to like the critique of Justin Bieber saying, "Oh, he's pop and he's teeny bop and he's for the babies and that type of stuff." It just no, this is definitely front runner as far as that kind of goes. Just an easy kind of executed highlight that just works. And it may be vanilla, but that's kind of the concept. It may be vanilla, but the concept behind it is the effectiveness behind it. You don't want to miss out on some of this. It's just definitely kind of a good concept of getting some of these styles that just works pretty damn well. So it's definitely kind of the thing. So I would look after it in terms of the future. Like once again, Justin Bieber has been kind of quiet because of his health problems, but there are a few more records I'm going to review, like his Christmas album, Journals, Purpose, some of those type ones. But this is definitely pretty excellent. 10 out of 10. And in my opinion, this might just be Justin Bieber's best album.